What Jake didn't know, and what she hadn't revealed, was that her name wasn't just any name. She was Serena Valen, the secret owner of $1 billion empire. She had spent years hiding behind her wealth, avoiding people who would treat her differently. But something about Jake's humility, his care for his daughter, and the way he treated life's challenges head-on had touched her in a way money never could. As the engine purred under her fingertips, Serena hesitated before pulling away from the shop. In her world, people rarely surprised her. Everyone wanted something: money, connections, access to her power. Jake wanted none of it. He had offered his kindness freely, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. Driving home that night, the rain streaking down her windshield, Serena felt something strange. Something she hadn't felt in years: hope. A dangerous feeling for someone who lived behind locked doors and guarded smiles. But Jake Turner, exhausted, overworked, honest to a fault, felt like a quiet corner of the universe she had never been allowed to touch, and that terrified her and pulled her back to him. A week later, the boardroom of Valen Enterprises buzzed with voices, screens filled with numbers climbing into the billions. Yet Serena's mind wasn't on profits or stockholders. It was on the man who had fixed her Mustang with hands roughened by survival. A man who looked at her like she was human. A man who didn't know her world, but maybe could belong in it. She stared at the envelope on her desk, something she had prepared in the quiet hours of dawn. A new position, a new chance, a new life for someone who deserved one. She didn't know Jake anything, yet she felt she owed him everything. The night she returned, rainstormed across the sky as if the world itself was impatient for change. Jake was closing the shop, ready to head home to Emma, when the bell above the door chimed softly. He looked up and froze. Serena stood there, soaked from the storm, her red dress clinging to her like fire in the dark. She wasn't the calm, quiet woman he'd met before. Something in her eyes had shifted: urgency, fear, and determination all wrapped together. Jake, she breathed. I want to help. Those words didn't sit right in his chest. He'd heard them before, from people who offered empty promises. Help? With what? Jake asked carefully. She placed the envelope on the counter between them. The paper looked ordinary, but the weight of it felt enormous. Everything, she said softly. You've been working too hard for too little. I can give you opportunities. Real ones. The kind that can change your life and Emma's. Jake stiffened. There it was, the catch of the pity, the charity. I don't want handouts, he said tightly. I just want to provide for Emma. That's all. Serena shook her head gently. This isn't charity. It's a chance you earned. How? Jake asked. By fixing your car? No, she said, her voice trembling. By reminding me who I used to be. Jake frowned. Serena, I don't understand. And then she told him everything: her name, her real identity, her company, her empire, her loneliness, her fear of becoming someone cold and unfeeling, and how meeting him, someone who lived in a world untouched by greed, changed something inside her. I'm offering you a position, she said, pushing the envelope closer. Training. A new start. A stable future for Emma. You deserve it more than half the people sitting in my boardrooms. Jake stared at her, heart pounding. I'm not a businessman, he whispered. I don't belong in your world. Serena stepped closer, rainwater dripping from her hair onto the floor. You don't belong in poverty either, she said gently. You belong somewhere where your strength means something. Let me help you get there. Jake swallowed hard. For the first time in his life, someone wasn't pushing him down, they were trying to lift him up. Slowly, hesitantly, he reached for the envelope. His fingers brushed hers. A spark, a promise, a doorway to a future he never believed he could have. He finally looked into her eyes. Okay, he whispered. Teach me. Serena let out a breath she didn't know she'd been holding. You won't regret this, she said softly. Jake nodded, though his heart thundered in his chest. I hope not, he whispered. For Emma's sake. Outside, the rain began to slow. Inside, Jake Turner had just taken the first step toward a life he never imagined, one that would challenge him, change him, and pull him into a world far bigger than anything he'd ever known. And Serena, she didn't just offer him a job, she had just changed both of their destinies. If you want, I can now continue with Fire. Jake's first day inside the billion-dollar empire. Fire. Emma's emotional reaction to her dad's new life. Fire. The obstacles Jake faces in Serena's corporate world. Fire. A dramatic twist that threatens everything. Fire. A powerful ending scene that leaves viewers inspired. Just tell me, continue and I'll write the next full part.